This is good old Grandmaster Revan here, and you're watching and listening to the Anonymous Liberty Media on YouTube, as well as Anchor FM, as well as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Castbox Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Radio Republic, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, and Bullhorn. Now, this video and podcast is episode 66. Titled Apple Stocks Nosedives and Blames President Trump. Now, every time when a company loses stock and it plummets, you don't hear it on the news on who's to blame. Okay. You don't hear about a senator getting blamed for it. You don't hear about a congressperson getting blamed for it. You don't hear about a president getting blamed for it, or anybody in politics, or you don't hear anybody in the head office at that particular company. Now, Apple's stock took a nosedive. I mean, I have it right here. It took a nosedive, and says here, Apple stock drops 38% in just 90 days. Okay, 90 days. Apple stocks was down more than 9% overnight and continues the downward trend of trading this morning. In fact, company stock price is down a total of 38% since October. This after the company halted trading yesterday afternoon to provide lower guidance for upcoming earnings. As the iPhone upgrade market softened, it was having a big impact on revenue, at least, and the Apple stock took a big hit as a result. On October 3rd, the stock was selling at $232.07 per share. And while the price has fluctuated, the market in general was plunged in that time period. The stock has been a downward trend for the past couple of months and has lost approximately $87 a share since October high point. Last night, before the company briefly stopped trading to make its announcement, the stock stood at $157.92 per share. This morning, as we went to publication, it was recovering a bit, but was still down 8.19% to $144.98.1. Dollars. DAD Senior Analysis come forward says yesterday's announcement, while not completely unexpected, was surprising given Apple's traditionally strong position. We knew that iPhone unit sales were weak, but not how weak, he says. The biggest factor in yesterday's announcement, in Forte's view, was China, where he said the company generates 20% of its sales. As the U.S.-China trade war drags on, it's having an impact with these sales. This could be because of the combination of factors, including weakening China's economy as a result of the trade war, or patriotism on the part of Chinese consumers who are choosing to buy Chinese brand over iPhone. This also comes here. I'm gonna let me see here. All right. Okay, where were we? Let's see where were we. Okay. This also comes at a time when Apple was already indicated that Apple iPhone sales were weak in other world markets, including India, Russia, Brazil, and Turkey. This already helped weaken the iPhone sales worldwide, although Forte still sees the China market as the biggest factor in play here. Forte says that in spite of soft iPhone performance, the good news is the rest of the product portfolio is up to 19%. That could be voted well for the future. What's more, the company has set aside $100 billion for a stock buyback proposals. They have the balance sheet, they have the stock buyback program, they still generate very significant free cash flow, and if the individual investors won't buy the stock, then the company would buy the stock back, explained. And a report released this morning, financial analysis, Canaccord Genuity believes that in spite of yesterday's report, the company is still fundamentally sound, and they continue to recommend to buy a buy for Apple stock. We maintain our belief Apple can recommend. Let's see here. Thanks. Oh, I'm sorry. We maintain our belief Apple can expand its leading market share in the premium tier smartphone market and the iPhone installed base, including refurbished iPhones, will exceed $700 million in 2018. That's impressive installed base should have iPhone replacement sales and earnings as well as cash flow generate to fund strong long-term capital returns. We reiterate our buy rating, but decreasing our price target to $190 based on our lower estimate, the company wrote in a report released this morning. Forte says the unknown. Here is how the company. Forte said the unknown. Here is how the U.S.-China trade war plays out. As long as that situation remains fluid, the company might not recover that income in the near term, in spite of stronger sales across catalog. That's right. And to everybody who just got on the podcast, I just had to hit my Bluetooth on my device, and my earpiece is connected. So I do apologize for that. For anybody, again, you are listening to the Anonymous Liberty Media podcast on Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple Podcast, again, Anchor FM, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Castbox, Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Radio Republic, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, and Bullhorn. Now, I will do a podcast on Bullhorn here in a little in about 40 minutes. So, but the 38%, Apple dropped 38% in 90 days. Okay. Now, it doesn't say here that Apple blames the president, but this morning, Apple did blame the president for the trade war with China because of their stocks. Now, here's something that I'm going to be honest with you guys. I know I'll be getting a lot of feedback and a lot of backlash for, some backlash for what I'm saying now. There are things that you cannot blame the president for, okay? But the constant bashing of the president for things he had nothing to do with, okay? The media is fake news. Oh, it's the president's fault. No, it's the media's fault for producing fake news. Apple shares dropped. Oh, the president. He did. He did. It's his fault. No. No. Companies that drop shares, the company's heads should be blamed for whatever is going on. But you cannot blame. But you cannot blame the president for everything that's wrong here. Okay. For one, again, our immigration sucks. Okay. The Democrats need illegal immigration to protect themselves to get reelected. Okay. Now, Democrats, you do not need illegal immigration to save your seat. What you need to do is wake the fuck up to know that you're doing wrong. I mean, if you're head of a company like Apple or General Motors or Nokia or Westinghouse or IBM, okay? If your stocks drop for whatever reason that is, go to your office bathroom, look at the mirror. That's the person you should blame. You should not blame anybody but yourself because you're running the company. Okay? It's your fault that your company is losing. The shares are falling because of it. Remember, but you cannot blame the president because what he's saying about China and Mexico and other countries, we're getting killed even before he ran and was elected. We were getting killed in trade. Okay, our immigration was fucked up. The last administration fucked it up. Okay, and it's kind of insane because we need to fix our country. Okay, if you live in America and the president says we're putting America first, okay, that means jobs, income, the economy, fixing our military, putting things back together. Okay. But if you're running a company that loses that shares drop 18-19% within 90 days, you have to go back and figure out what went wrong. Instead of blaming anybody, you got to go back and look at the books and find out what went wrong. Of course, if there's a trade war between us and China, but that has nothing. Yes, there's a trade war between us and China, but that's not the reason why Apple shares dropping within 90 days. Okay, 19 shares took a plummet. Guess who got the blame? President did. He got the blame. And the guys we have that do the trade, that do the trade deals, they suck. We need somebody who could actually, do a deal. Somebody who could actually knows art of the deal, and not get screwed in the end. Yeah, I mean, you understand. For example, if General Motors, if shares in General Motors plummet 20%, 30% within 90 days, something went wrong. Something went terribly wrong. I mean, really wrong. Or if you're in a top tier construction company, That's known for doing good and everything else, and the stocks, also employment. Holy crap! You gotta figure out what went wrong within the company. You cannot blame somebody in office. You can't blame this presenter. You have to go back, look at the books, and look at the people that are at the top running the company. Okay, if you're running a multi-million or a multi-billion-dollar company, you got to look at the books. What went wrong? Okay, you have to really understand that. Also, the investors. Okay, maybe you also got to think that maybe the investors lost interest in just foregoing their own share. And you got to ask yourself that. Did the investors back out or something like that? Or was there something wrong at the top of the company? Could Tim Cook be fucking up again? I mean, could he be fucking up this time or what? Because Apple shares dropped 19% within 90 days. That's pretty bad, all within 90 days. Now, that's like if, for example, if you're in a car company that's building cabs, okay. Now, Checker had made cabs like this for years. This is a 1974 Checker Marathon cab. Okay, this is a Marathon cab. This is a Checker cab. The cab company no longer made cabs. They made parts. They made parts for other companies that were getting into the cab business, like Ford or Buick or Chevrolet or whatever. And they made parts. They made parts like doors and trunks and hoods and fenders and whatnot. So the 2008-2009 recession really tore the company up. You know, companies fail due to a recession. The stocks plummet. You have to really figure out where it all reason. But Apple, again, whose stocks plummeted 19% in 90 days, they blame Trump, President Trump, over the trade war with China. Well, that had nothing to do with the plummet of the stocks of Apple, because India, Russia, China, who else? Turkey. So where's it at? Let me see here. Includes India, Russia, Brazil, and Turkey. This already helped weaken iPhone sales worldwide, although Forte still sees the Chinese market is the biggest factor in play here. Okay, 19%. Okay, Forte says despite the soft iPhone performance, the good news is the rest of the product portfolio is up 19%, and that could bode well in the future. What's more, the company has set aside $100 million for stock buyback purposes. They have balance sheets. They have stock buyback program. They still generate a very significant free cash flow. And if the individual investor won't buy these stocks, the company will buy stock. He explained. I mean, you have to look where it all. I mean, you have to find the reason why these stocks just dropped within 90 days. So, I mean, you have to really look at it like this: where do I go, and where do I start to look at the problem on why? Okay, you cannot blame somebody who's in office because they're in a trade war with China. No. People in China are buying Chinese products over the iPhone in China. right now. And it is very insane because here we're looking at companies in history that had stocks plummet but still recover. Okay. If you have a company, you cannot blame somebody, who with orange hair, who's in office, and you have to stop doing that. Okay. The media is blaming Trump for their fucking failures. I mean, all over 90 to 93.2% of the media is bashing the president every fucking day, every fucking week, every fucking month on all networks, from the cable news to the legacy dinosaur media, the New York Times, the LA Times, okay, the Chicago. I mean, any newspaper out there, any news network is constantly bashing the guy. Okay, but you have to really look at where and why Apple stock plummeted in 90 days. 19% within 90 days since October, and that's pretty bad. That is absolutely bad, terrible. I mean, 90 days. But Apple set aside $100 billion. $100 billion. Nice. And I mean, it's pretty much that. I'm tired. I mean, yeah. Even though I didn't vote for the guy or support the guy, it's pretty chicken shit that the president is constantly getting bashed, getting this and this, and ever since Pelosi became speaker again, there's talks again about article of impeachment. Okay, what are the articles? I mean, if we're going to impeach the president, what are the articles? There's nothing there. I mean, if he pulled a Nixon, maybe, but what did he do? You can't just say, well, we're going to impeach the president for this and this. No, the reason you want to do it is because you're pissed off because Hillary lost the election. She had a poor campaign. She lost to a better person. So before you even think of this shit, you have to think of the consequences, the outcome, the ramification of what would happen if you throw out the article of impeachment and then actually go through with it, because you can't prove anything. You cannot prove anything because what do you do? You can't say that he don't pay his taxes. The guy pays his taxes. He's a billionaire. And I mean, you gotta understand. I mean, look, the elite on both sides of the aisle, both parties, are pro-war. And ever since he pulled our troops out of Syria, the Democrats were they went fucking nuts. They actually went nuts. And why did they go nuts? Because their racket is ending. It ended. Okay? Now, I mean, we have been known to overthrow governments. Okay? We've been known throughout history to overthrow democratically elected governments and put in a puppet. Okay, the last time was what? Brazil. Okay, Brazil. Okay, and then again in 2009 in Honduras, we overthrew a guy in Honduras and put in a puppet in 2009. That's 9. That's 10 years ago. Almost 10 years ago. I mean, we have overthrown democratically elected governments through the CIA. Even in South America, we've overthrown democratically elected governments in South America. You know, there's a fruit corporation down in South America. The people were protesting and picketing over the environment of the work. Then what happened? The fruit company called us. We was in the Marines, and we basically killed most of them because they were not doing their work. And the company became Chiquita Banana. We were working for the United Fruit Corporation down in South America. We overthrew people like Costa Rica, Panama, you name it, in South America. Even Guam. No, we pretty much overthrew governments that were elected democratically by the people. Like now, I mean, we have a president that was elected by the people, not by the banks, not by the corporations, not by anybody who's hoity-toity. No, president, first time ever since the founding of our country that the people voted for a guy. It wasn't the banks, it wasn't the corporations, it wasn't the military, it wasn't the big oil barons in Texas, the good old boys, It wasn't the military industrial complex people. No, it was the American people that voted and put the guy in office. That's why they're throwing out this idea for an article of impeachment, because Hillary lost to a better person. Okay, they're pissed off because Trump overcame voter fraud and won. They're pissed off because Trump won and Hillary lost. Hillary ran a very poor campaign, and it's just that they don't want to look at the real picture. They don't want to look at the bigger picture. But you cannot blame anybody for a company's stock plummeting within 90 days. Okay, that's 18, 19% within 90 days. So, what do you do? If you run a billion-dollar company and you look at the shares drop. The shares are dropping. Only 18, 19% within 90 days, and you got to figure out what went wrong. What do you do? What do you do? And you gotta go look at the books. You gotta look at the spreadsheet. Gotta look at the whole thing. And you gotta figure out what went wrong. All right. All right. Okay, let's do it. This is good old Grandmaster Revan here. This is good old Grandmaster Revan. And if you are new to this channel, I want to thank you guys for watching the video and the podcast. Listen to the podcast. And if you're new to this channel and podcast, subscribe, comment below, hit the bell for notification, and please share this video. And if you got this transmission, you are the resistance. Again, I am Grandmaster Revan here. I'm the founder of the Anonymous Liberty Media on here on YouTube and Anchor FM. And if you want to, here's something I like to little promote here. If you want to start your own little podcast, if you want to be a podcaster, okay. If you want to be a podcaster, here's want to check out Anchor FM on the internet, and you can also download the app. The 2016 app of the year. You don't need a studio. You just need your device and your laptop. Go to Anchor FM. Go to Anchor.fm. Sign up. Start up, and you're all ready to go. And you can also make a little money on the side. If you need money for bills, there you go. A little amount of money, there you go. Not too bad. And so, again, download the Anchor app on your device, phone or tablet, and you're all set. Just sign up, check it out, go for it. You don't need a studio. You're good. And once you start, there's a good chance you'll be on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Castbox, Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Radio Republic, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, and Bullhorn. Oh yeah, you could enjoy yourself, have fun. And again, I am Grandmaster Revan here. I'm the founder of the Anonymous Liberty Media podcast and YouTube channel here. And thank you for watching and listening. And again, knowledge is free. If you don't like it, you flick yourself.